Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Clear Politics Takeaway for Thursday, July 8th. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RCP.
And I'm Carl Cannon, Washington Bureau Chief. Tom, do you know what happened 245 years ago today?
Tell me, Carl.
The Liberty Bell pealed in Philadelphia, signaling the beginning of a new nation. It didn't happen on July 4th because unlike now when we have instant printing and we have our online news organization, it took about 4 days for the Declaration of Independence to come back from the printer. So today is the day, actually, when the citizens of Philadelphia heard that sound that went around the world, really. A country based on freedom, imperfect country with an imperfect understanding of freedom. But it happened today on this date.
Well, speaking of that, Carl, Joe Biden is set to give a talk about Afghanistan and the withdrawal of U.S. troops there and what appears to be sort of the rapid disintegration of the Afghan military and to Taliban forces. I mean, there have been pictures coming out, Carl, of the Afghan armies, turning over their weapons, shaking hands with the Taliban. There have also been some pretty dramatic pictures of the looting that's gone on at the Bagram Air Force Base there, or Air Base, with, just tons of stuff that's being, I guess, now sold on the market. I mean, it looks like we left a lot of stuff there when we took off. What do you expect Biden to say, and how do you think this policy is proceeding thus far?
Well, Tom, this is our longest war, Afghanistan, and to have the American troops leave in the middle of the night and not even officially inform the Afghan government that we're leaving this stuff at the airport, I don't know what to say. Americans my age remember April 30th, 1975, when we left Vietnam in haste. And, there had been, like that war, the public opinion had turned against it, like Afghanistan. And it wasn't a secret that we were leaving Vietnam, but there's a right way and a wrong way to leave the battlefield, and it seems like we're repeating this historical mistake. And again, what we had in Vietnam was all these people who had helped the United States, and in good faith, translators and soldiers and other people, and that led to the boat people. You have people in Afghanistan who have helped us, and you look at those pictures and you wonder, are we going to abandon the people who helped us again? It's very fraught. I don't know what Biden's going to say, and I'm eager to know how he's going to deal with this problem.
This is particularly on the Republican side, Carl, because Donald Trump was very much in favor of bringing the troops home from conflicts around the globe. But it has split the Republican Party, and I think Democrats are generally supportive of Biden's continuation of Trump's policy of bringing those troops home. But there are some Democrats who think that it's a mistake to pull out as well. One of the comments I heard the other day was, if after 20 years of being there, trying to stand up a government and an army and a civil society, if it disintegrates as rapidly as it appears to have, particularly the army piece of it, that it wasn't, that just means we weren't succeeding, we were failing anyway, and that was the right decision to get out. Other folks are saying, no, we should stay there. We should, continue to support the Afghans for maybe, as long as it takes, whether that's another 20 years or whatever. What's your sense of that? I mean, is it the right move? I'm setting aside, the idea that we might be abandoning some allies who worked on our behalf there. But what do you make of that argument? If we spent 20 years there and trillions of dollars in blood and treasure, and we leave and the place falls apart immediately, is that a sign that the choice is basically it was a good choice to leave, because otherwise we'd be stuck there forever? Well,
Tom, I have friends who died there. And you hate to think they died for nothing. We originally went to Afghanistan because the Taliban had given Osama bin Laden, essentially turned over their country to him.
Right.
The government, Bush administration initially said, turn over Osama bin Laden to us. Well, the Taliban was a wholly owned subsidiary of Al Qaeda. They couldn't do that. The American forces went there. Eventually, when Barack Obama was president, Osama bin Laden was found in Pakistan and killed. And the reason to stay in Afghanistan was, nation building, to help this country. And your point that if 20 years hasn't done it, can it be done? I think that's That's the question most Americans had, and the last three administrations had. So, Joe Biden is continuing Donald Trump's policy. I don't think it's an unpopular one here in the United States, but you hate to think that around the world, the message will go out that America won't stand by the people who tried to help it. That's not good either.
No, but I guess the point is, we can only try and we can only do so much. We can only spend so much time and so much blood and treasure, and eventually people have to help themselves. And for whatever reason, Afghanistan has been just a nightmare, and looks like it's going to continue to be that. And there may be repercussions in the future based on our policy, but as you mentioned, at least now the public seems to support the idea that we've spent enough blood and treasure there for the time being.
Well, to your point, Tom, when in George W. Bush's second inauguration, he basically laid out this worldview. And they didn't say it quite this way, but the idea was that the world has gotten too small to have failed states in it where terrorism can take root. That's, in theory, I think most people would agree with that. But the United States, I think what Afghanistan shows is the United States can't do that alone.
All right, we will leave it there for this morning. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RealClearPolitics.
And this is Carl Cannon, Washington Bureau Chief for RealClearPolitics. And this has been the RCP Takeaway for Thursday, July 8th, 2021. Join us tomorrow for our extended audio-only podcast hosted by Andrew Walworth. And we'll have as our guest Phil Wegman, who covers the White House for RealClearPolitics.